I worked as a scrutineer on Canadian federal election day and witnessed serious loopholes in the election system. New voters whose name were not on the voters list can still vote by simply registering on the spot with any ID with a photo at an address. No proof of citizenship is required. So literally anybody can vote, and their votes are counted and can never be removed, no matter if they are valid voters. This conclusion has been confirmed by Elections Canada officially. I've recorded the whole conversation. Please watch till the end of the video. During my 1 hour and 20 minutes phone call, I had to talk with 3 tiers of agents. All of them had to put me onto waiting forever so that they could do their research and try to find out the answer. The answer from the final tier of agents, who is the supervisor, basically confirms this loophole can be taken advantage. Result of the election could be manipulated.
My follow-up question is, so if they found out these persons, so they are fake, they're cheating, how do you find who they voted for? How do you calculate which ballot should be removed?
No, the vote would not be removed from the count.
See, that's the problem. You can't change their votes. The votes are already calculated. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the vote would already be calculated, and they wouldn't be going through the ballots and finding the vote that the person put through, because they wouldn't be writing their name on their ballot. Due to the secrecy of the vote, that is not possible. However, the person will be charged.
The new voters in my voting station was 51. It's about 6% margin, which is huge and even bigger than the difference between the final result of the 2 parties. I have to report it to Elections Canada because I tried to report to everyone I could on the election day. However, nobody could answer my question or even thought about this issue. Is there a voter ID verification process, and when does this happen?
I have some questions about the process of the voter's identity confirmation. Can I ask you about this?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so my question is, when there are new voters registered on the voting day, because their name is not on the list, nobody can find their name on the voters list, so they register as new voters. Meanwhile, the only requirement was 2 pieces of ID with address on at least one ID. So in this case, nobody is going to verify if they are a Canadian citizen, if they have the right to vote. My question is, how is this problem solved? How do you confirm the voter's identity?
So how you mean, how do you confirm if they are Canadians or not, if they don't bring the proof of Canadian citizenship?
No, that's not required.
So I don't understand the question. Do you mean when they come in with the 2 IDs, how you know they are Canadian?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So can I have your name again, please, and your postcode? All right. Give me a second. Can I put you in a brief hold for like 2 or 3 minutes? I'll be right back. I have to go look for the information.
You have to collect the information?
I have to look for the information for you, yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Hello, welcome to Elections Canada. This is Rhina speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, I was put on waiting line. I don't know what's happening. Hi.
Hello?
Yes, I was put onto waiting, and then all of a sudden another person talked with me. So do I need to repeat my question, or this question passed to you?
No, nothing was passed to me right now. Yeah, I do apologize about that. You'll just have to retell me exactly what happened, and I'll do my best to help you out right now. Is that okay?
Okay, so I was working as a scrutineer yesterday. I found a problem in the voting process. So the new voters registered on the voting day, like their names are not on the list, so they can just register as the voter and get the ballot. And when they registered, the only ID required, you know what is that, right? The ID required for new registration.
Yeah, you would just need a piece of ID with your name, your photo, and your current address.
Mm-hmm. So how to verify if they have the right to vote? Because they only Canadian citizens have the right to vote.
Oh, I see. Well, just give me one moment because you would look them up in our system because a lot of the people are listed once they turn 18 are listed in our register, and there obviously we would only have people who are eligible to vote. Let me look into that actually. Your question is how would you know if they were a Canadian citizen given that they only have to provide their license upon registration?
Yeah, none of the document of their citizenship is required at the registration. Yeah, that's my concern.
All right, just give me one moment if you don't mind. I'm going to put you on hold while I look into this. Is that all right with you?
Well, the problem is the last person who put me on hold disappeared. That's why now you're talking with me. I don't want the same thing happen again. Can you promise me?
Yeah, no, I won't be transferring you anywhere unless I tell you I'm going to, and then I will relay the information to the other department if we need to do so. But right now I'm not going to. I'm just going to look into this for you, and I'll come back as soon as possible. Is that all right with you?
I have no problem waiting. Just please get back to me.
Yeah, of course. And just before I put you on hold, could I get your name, please? Your full name. And could I get your postal code as well before I put you on hold? Just give me one moment. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to look into this and I'll be back as soon as possible. I won't transfer you anywhere without letting you know. So just give me one moment and I'll be back as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your patience.
Hi. Sorry, I was muted. I muted myself. Didn't realize. Can you hear me?
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I'm still here and I'm just working on getting an answer for you. But in the meantime, could you just provide me the polling location you were working at as a
It's
premier?
Douglas Elementary in South Surrey.
Okay, perfect. And what province is that in?
BC.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, I'll be right back. I'm still looking into the answer to your question right now, and I'll be back as soon as possible. Just give me another moment, please.
Okay, Sam, thank you.
Hello, are you still there?
Hi, yes, I'm still here.
So I have an answer for you. So basically for voting, when you go to vote, if you're already registered, you don't have to prove your citizenship. You just have to bring your one of the required pieces of ID that we have. But if you do register at the polls, you have to sign this paper that declares your Canadian citizenship when you initially register. So there's also a paper that you would sign, and it's basically a declaration attesting that you are a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, I know.
You are not a citizen when verification is complete.
I know.
There would be repercussions for that.
I know there is a declaration. The problem is people lie and people cheat. So my question is, how does Election Canada verify these people's ID, their validation to vote? I mean, what does Election Canada do to verify them? I know there's this process they need to sign.
Yeah. So basically, after you register at the polls, let's say it's on election day, you register at the polls, your registration will then, at the end of the night after the polls close, it will be put into the system in the National Register of Electors. And it will only be approved if your citizenship can be proved. Otherwise, your registration will not go through.
The problem is I was working there, and after they finished their voting, and we counted the votes already. So when do you do this job? There's no time for this job get done, and there's no time to get their ballot out of the voting box if they are not qualified.
I understand. That's just the answer that we have here, and that's what is in the Canada Elections Act. We can't make any changes to that, and that's just the rules have already been instated, and that's just how it is done here. I can definitely transfer you over to the complaints department if you would like to file a formal complaint regarding this. But again, the registrations are verified after, at least the ones that have been made at the polling stations, and they're verified after to make sure that the people who registered are actually Canadian citizens. But I have no problem transferring you to the complaints department if you'd like to make an official complaint.
I don't even know this complaint is about what. Because apparently it's the rule, like everywhere is doing the same thing. I don't even know I'm complaining about which department, which I'm complaining about the whole system. And my follow-up question is, because you mentioned there's a verification process, can I know precisely when does this happen? I'm still confused. When is the verification get down? Is it after the votes are counted? When is this process happening?
Yeah, just give me one moment. I will look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I put you on hold again?
No, I don't mind.
Thank you so much. Hello?
Hi, I'm still here.
Hi, okay, perfect. So I do have the answer for you. So basically, as for the citizenship, Elections Canada has sharing agreements with immigration, and we have the ability at the polls to verify if someone has taken their oath, as in their oath of citizenship. And then if they have not gone through immigration to gain citizenship, we will see in the system that they have not taken the oath. And the polling day workers are able to see this as well.
I don't think so. You are saying at the moment they registered, the officer would tell?
Yeah, but kind of like I said, we have sharing agreements with immigration, and like the polling day workers would be able to see if someone has taken their oath of citizenship, because we have agreements with immigration.
I don't get the answer. Are you telling me at the moment when they register, like the officer who's helping with the registration will know if they're citizens straight away?
Just give me one more moment. This is what
I don't think so.
My supervisor.
The officer literally don't know. They don't know. I was there. I talked with them. They don't know. They have no idea. They said this is not their jobs. That's Election Canada's job. That's why I'm calling.
All right, no problem. So I do have the option if you would like to speak to a supervisor, if you would like to, again, speak to the complaints department, or you can let me still look into it further and try and figure out when exactly that registration does happen. Just give me one moment and I can transfer you to a supervisor. Is that all right with you?
Just please make sure this is gonna really go there, because I've been waiting almost for an hour, and I don't hope this line just get cut off. Then I have to go through the whole process again. I don't hope that's gonna happen. So if the line was off, can I get someone to call me back?
Yeah.
My number is 77. My number is.
All right, perfect. I'm just going to put you on hold for one more moment while I get a supervisor to come on the line with you. Mm-hmm. Again, I really do apologize for the long wait. I'm trying to look into these answers. Sometimes it's a bit hard for us to find like the specific details about things, but I'm looking into it now, and I will talk to the supervisor so I could have someone come on the line with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling Elections Canada. My name is Alex. How can I help?
Hi, Alex. This is Yishan Zhang. Do you learn the situation question already, or do I need to repeat the whole thing again?
No, I was actually providing the answers to the agent that was speaking with you.
Okay, sounds good.
You were concerned about when citizenship is verified. As was stated previously, we have information sharing with immigration, and we do have access to see who has and who has not taken an oath, and it's required to take an oath to become a Canadian citizen. So you can be verified at the polls whether or not you have taken your citizenship before you vote. Now, in reality, there are certain instances where it is possible that mistakes can be made or errors can be made and a non-citizen can vote. However, in those cases, this is always double-checked at the end of, when the election concludes, we do verify whether or not they were Canadian citizens. Anybody who is not a Canadian citizen who votes is facing up to 5 years in jail and a $50,000 fine, or both. One or the other, or both. So while, yes, sometimes there is the possibility that this could occur in a hypothetical situation, the person would be facing severe penalties, which definitely should discourage anybody from attempting to do so. It is both a violation of Canadian law to attempt to vote while not a Canadian citizen, as well as voting while not a Canadian citizen. And we do verify at the polls that everybody has taken the oath if they have gained citizenship.
Thanks for the answer, but it doesn't answer my question. My question is, when does this verification happen? So you said once they registered, this will get verified. Is that the answer?
Yes, if they're registering to vote at the polls, their citizenship will be verified through our information sharing with immigration.
Oh no, there's no computer. How? There's no computer, and I was there. Definitely nobody was verifying if their citizenship, and they have no tool to verify. How?
Well, everything that you see at the poll is not all of the verification tools that we use. So the fact that you do see people using paper lists to verify citizenship or verify if somebody's registered on the National Register of Electors, there's other verification tools that are not right in front of you while you are at the polls.
No, I talked.
You are registered to vote, but it's during the verification process. Yes.
I talked with them. They said that's not their job. Election Canada may do it later or whatever. They said that's not their job. They are not verifying.
Okay, can I just ask you to hold the line for one moment, please?
Yeah, can I have an expectation how long this will take?
I'm just going to go and speak with somebody quickly to see if I can find a little bit more information on that. It might take me a few minutes. I'll be right back on the line with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hi, sorry for that hold. Are you still with me?
Yes, hi.
Hi, sorry. So thank you for holding the line. I did have to double check. So it was a little bit different than what I had explained. So at the polls, the process when you register is that you have to sign a declaration that you are a Canadian citizen.
Yeah,
now,
I understand that part.
So a person who is not, a person who has not yet been sworn in during the IRCC citizenship ceremony, they're still considered as non-citizens, as they must have taken the oath of citizenship. Now, at the polls, when somebody signs that declaration, their citizenship is not checked before they vote. However, it will definitely be checked afterwards. And if somebody who is a non-citizen has voted, they face 5 years in jail as well as a $50,000.
So, sorry to interrupt. I understand the consequence and this part because I was there. I experienced it. You don't have to spend time explaining this for me. My question is, when does this happen? Like, when is this verification gonna happen? You said after the votes it's gonna happen, but when? Like specifically when?
I can't give you an exact day that it happens, as this is a procedure that takes a long amount of time to verify each and every single person who is registered at the polls. As you can see in some of the statistics, there are millions of people that register at the polls in order to vote. So it does take a little bit of time for these people to be verified. However, there is a Office of the Commissioner of Canadian Elections who investigates these matters and will verify every single person's citizenship who registers at the polls, and those who are not Canadian citizens will be prosecuted.
You said there will be millions of new voters. There are millions of new voters. So this is a big margin, which can affect the result of the election. My follow-up question is, so if they found out these persons, so they are fake, they are cheating, how do you find who they voted for? How do you calculate which ballot should be removed?
No, the vote would not be removed from the count.
See, that's the problem. You can't change their votes. The votes are already calculated. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the vote would already be calculated, and they wouldn't be going through the ballots and finding the vote that the person put through, because they wouldn't be writing their name on their ballot. Due to the secrecy of the vote, that is not possible. However, the person will be charged. They'll be investigated, and they're facing 5 years in jail and a $50,000 fine.
literally you are saying this is workable and this is doable to manipulate the result of the federal election of Canada. If you don't mind to be put into prison or pay for that fine, actually the result of federal election of Canada can be manipulated by cheating.
Okay, so if somebody would like to face 5 years in jail and a $50,000 fine, then yes, there is the possibility that they would be able to cast a single ballot in a country of 27 million registered electors.
Well, I just want a fair result of the federal election, because even though you punish them, the result can't be changed. Is that correct?
Yes, their vote would not be removed. Now, we do perform elections based on the Canada Elections Act. If you would like to make a suggestion to amend the Canada Elections Act based on verification procedures, based on requirement to prove citizenship at the polls, etc., I would definitely recommend contacting the Privy Council about it. If you'd like to lodge a complaint about these processes, you also do have that right, and you can send us an email. We can also route that email to our Electoral Integrity Office to give you a little bit more of a precise answer as to how common this is.